So this is how our generated mesh looks like, and these colors are coming from the color section of gen scale details. Now as you can see, it's based on um, curvature of the mesh itself. So it gives these weird colors, especially for custom mesh, but you can always switch it off. Let's say curve it to 0. That means that they will have a uniform color. It depends how you want to see this. If it's distracting, switch it off. Now I like to keep it a bit of value in there. All right. Now, one other thing that I noticed is the gap. Now, why it's happening is because the final scales are subdivided. So if you look, smooth my shaded, subdivided, while our geometry and our um, scales are low resolution, which creates that gap. So the best way to deal with this is add a sub D for the scales itself so that it retains shape. So this is the better representation of the shape itself. Now you can always come back and change the shape of the silhouette of the scales if required. Now for now I'm just going with this, and let's generate this again to see how that looks. Okay, so this is what we have, and it's pretty basic at this point, and some of the IDs doesn't work for the creature, so we'll have to reassign all those IDs, and it doesn't look like a scale to me. So basically it needs a better shaping of, especially of the silhouette of all these scales. It's too rounded, and that is not what we want. Anyways, I will generate this and then we'll take a look again. Okay, so now that is generated, and you can see it looks much better. It holds shape way better than before. So that is something that you can do once you can have a better shaping of your scales, individual scales, and then bring that in. Now these are not looking great, and the height difference, which is not right. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll just modify slightly a little bit more of all these, and maybe I will change some of these scales. We don't want so much of different types of scales here. It feels that way. And let me see, and maybe the size of it. I mean, different crocodiles have different shape to this, and I have a feeling that our shape doesn't look great. Ours look too geometric, so that's something I have to replace. I think these scales are all our custom scales in here. So what I will do is I will repaint some of these so that we have more of this sort of scales around here. Cool. So what I will do is I'll go to Maya and then re-edit some of our base scales. So yeah, that's something that I will do first. So what I've done is I have come in Maya and I have changed the shape, basically the silhouette, and I believe this looks much way more organic than what I had previously. So what I will do is I will export this back again. I'll just overwrite what I had before. Export selection to Olympic and scales ABC. Export selection. One write to file. Okay. So what happened is I was not able to overwrite the previous file, so I have saved it out as a new file. Now what we'll do is we will bring that back in. So we will bring that back in. So scales 1.abc, or did I miss the name? Scales v1. Okay. So we have that, the same transformation, then convert and then subdivide it. All right. So this should give me more organic looking scales. So I will just do a straight swap and see how that looks. Okay, so I'll go for a generate mesh again. It will take a few minutes, so I will pause and come back once it's done. All right, so this is the new version with all the new scales. But I think I need to swap some of these with a bit more interesting scale. So let me take a look at this again. Well, I want to take a look at tablet scales. We have got, I think, so 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is interesting. I think I need more of 4. So I'll go to ID and go in here, put it to 4. And let me change this to, oh, actually it's already 4. I will change this to 4, basically more 4s. Set ID 4. Okay. Here I will go for 4. And here also I will need 4, which is a bit more subtle. Set ID to 4. And yeah, so let's take a look at scale slow to get an idea. You still have these because that is ID 0. So what we'll have to do is rearrange the scales in here. Now for that we have to split. So what I'll do is in here I will blast with a blast node, and this will be ID1, ID1, and this will be, let's try that one, direct non-selected. Maybe not that. ID2. Yeah, I think this will do. ID1. This will be our base ID. Then ID1. This will be ID1, or ID2. ID3 will be this one. Then ID4, and then ID5. ID5 will be, and then ID5 will be the last. Then what we want to do is merge it. And the first one will be ID1, so on and so forth. So this is how you rearrange it and then convert it. So if you now check in template scales, you see this will be 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's take a look at scale slow. Okay, so as predicted, things have changed here. So my understanding is, so 1, 2, 3 is bigger one, 2 is also 1. So I'm just going to rearrange IDs. 3. So I want these to be bigger ones. So I'll need 3 there. So I'll go to ID and set ID to 3. And let me change this to 3. Okay. Set ID to 3. Yep. I think this should work. Hopefully. Maybe I'll add more lines. Okay. Cool. All right. So if I go back and check scales low, we'll get more of these. And I have a feeling they should be much more bigger. So that means that we need bigger size scales in here. And it could be also that my model is not correct. It needs to flow better. So I'll take a quick pass on that. That is this guy. And what I want is the base to be more wider. Something like this. Yeah. Maybe this will give a better look to that scale. Yeah, something like this. Okay, so let's try again. I will just export this cache, Alembic cache, export selection to Alembic and scale C1. Let's try that. It's not letting me do that. So I will have to go for cache, Alembic scales version 2. WC selection. All right, so back in here, let me change it to version 2. And yeah, still I don't like how it looks. And one of the things is the ID control, ID randomize. I'm going to put it 0. Don't want to randomize it. I will change these to 3. This green one, I will change it to 3. Set ID. Something like that. Let's take a look again. Okay, maybe the height of this is not great. Okay, I think I want more of these sort of scales around here. So what you can do is come back to the mask and paint more. Like this. I don't want scales in here. Okay, something like this would work. All right, so come back and let's see how that goes. Scale is low. Okay, so these sort of tiles actually make a lot more sense to have, and I don't want these guys in here. So let's keep it as one. So ID, I can change that. You can even delete it if you don't want, but let's keep it as one. Set ID to one. So you will have those. Yeah, something like this. So this makes more sense to have. And if you want more of those, you can add in head. I think this scales looks great. So let's add more of those. So go back to mask and I will just, add those in, and maybe in here. Okay. Okay, let's take a look again. Scale slow. Okay, this looks more interesting and more natural looking. And one thing we can do is just break this up. We can go to ID control and let's put some randomness to it. So one thing to note is when you put random, it will also come in these areas that you don't want to have, but that's how it works. Okay, maybe I want a little bit more in here, so go back and we can add a bit of this in here. Obviously, take close reference to real world references. I'm not looking into too much of those. I'm just trying to get something cool. And the ID here is not working for me. So what I will do is I'll just delete it off. I don't want any ID. So it will just take 0. Okay, and I can just delete it off. And that should be what I want. So you can see that it already is looking very interesting. Okay, so this looks very interesting. So what I will do is I will just generate and see how that looks in high-res. And one other thing I will do is I will also um, merge the whole thing with the main body so that we can see everything together. And this one. Oh, and one thing is you have to take the transformation. All right, so this will give you a better picture. Okay, so that is more interesting. So let me generate that. Okay, let me generate it. I'll save it first. This time around, I'll go for 3. So we have this generated out. So you can see how it looks. It looks kind of cool, having all the pins and everything working together quite well. And let's merge it with, maybe we can give it a bit of color, different color. What is the color that they usually have as my pure? Okay, I think. Okay, I'm trying to expand it. Okay, so they have some sort of yellow color and brown. So we will go something. Okay, something like that, or more yellowish. So yeah, something like this, and maybe we can increase the curve width. Let me see, a ramp. So you have some controls to, just get some quick colors on it. It's not precise, it's not very neat, but it will get you something to visualize it a bit better. So that is our croc, and let's merge and see. And maybe I will add some color on the body itself. Okay, what can I give? Node. Okay, and let's give it pick from here, something like that. Maybe a bit lighter. Yep, something like that. Now there is a height difference, so in order to resolve that, we have in the tool itself, you have in global controls, you have hero offset. Oh, where is it? Um, okay, hero offset. So I think changing that a bit will help. So let me. You have to give it some time to update. Yeah, so it's a bit too much, I think. The offset. Maybe I can come down. Let's see, 1.5. Let's go with that. Um, I think it seems all right. Okay, so we already have a decent looking croc now with all these symbol setup, and it didn't take much time. Now, the rest of the stuff would be manual painting, and one thing to tackle here is how its belly looks like. And there are a lot more variation that we can bring in. Different types of scales you can add. Here, this is all procedural right now. If I have anything for the, you can see these type of scales. Not exactly sure how they look like. Maybe we can give a bit more of bulge on these guys. So in the bulge multiplier, we have very small value. We'll try giving it a bit more. Let's say 3, which might give it a pillowy look. Maybe that will help. Yeah, it definitely gave it a bit more organic shape, a pillowy bulge out, which is nice to have. And maybe you can have one more rectangular shaped scale, something like this, so that we can have these sort of shapes on the belly. Yep. And what else? Oh, I'm looking at here. I think this section, which we actually removed from the geometry, might also have some sort of scales. Maybe this could be in a sculpt. Yeah. And now what I will do is I will paint some of these shapes, irregular shapes. We can just paint it. Okay, so let me do that. And you can see the shapes in here. Maybe we can create a custom shape for that and then add it in here, which will be much more interesting, which will make it a bit more interesting. So there are a lot of things that you can do with this tool. This will help because it's already done. It'll just take around a couple of hours to just set it up and generate the whole thing. Now we haven't done anything for the legs, so we can definitely do that. But for now, I'll just show you how to go about painting this stuff. So in here, let's say you want something different, and for that you can come back to paint mode in here and go to paint mode and go to your tool. So now what you can do is you can paint manually. So let's go pick a color in here and do some ID paints. So let's say these are the shapes you like. Spend some time on it, obviously. I'm not doing that. So, and right now for paint mode, symmetry is switched on. I'm going to switch it off so that it's a bit more faster. And I want to focus on the face, just the face. So I will switch off body for now so that so this will help you in refining area by area. Um, all right, so let me pick this. Going for a bigger shapes. You can take a bigger brush, something like that.